Are you depressed? Are you anxious? Are you upset? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you're just like me. I think there are three things that you can do right now to feel like you have more control over your life and your destiny in a world that feels like sometimes well being is disconnected from your own actions. We live in a pretty big world, an interconnected world, a world with constant and easy access to information that is not always within our vicinity, but demands our attention nonetheless. Demands our attention and demands our emotion, demands a reaction, even though we can't actually do anything about it. I think a lot of people struggle with and disagree with the general direction that the world is going in right now. We see that the rich and powerful are getting away with things that they shouldn't be getting away with. We see a consolidation of money and power um, going to the top even more so than it was before. Things like COVID and things like Trump have only accelerated these issues. And people feel a real detachment from their agency. People feel like no matter what they do, they exist inside a sinkhole they can't get out of. It's like trying to claw your way out of quicksand. The more you dig, the more you freak out, the deeper you go. So it's better to just turn on the TV or scroll, you know, to be calm and still in the quicksand. I spent a long portion of my life kind of being a nihilist. Since I didn't agree with the direction of the world, whether it be, pollution, socioeconomics, technology, war, AI, whatever it is, AI fits in the technology thing, but deserves its own category. Since I didn't like it and I couldn't control it, I was like, I have two options. I either play a part in the progression of it or I exempt myself from it. So, my heroes were like the people from my side of the mountain, if you've ever read that book. The guy who has the courage to run off into the wilderness and survive in nature as you could say a higher power intended or as nature intended. Now, since I didn't have the goal to do such a thing, since I didn't have a goal to run away to a foreign land or to the woods and try to live on my own accord, I settled for sadness and nihilism, bleakness, and kind of tearing down the realities of people around me, the people I love. I wasn't okay with just myself being sad, with myself seeing and realizing certain things about the world around me, like a classic one is me recording on a smartphone that requires kids in the Democratic Republic of Congo to be inside of cobalt mines, so we can get the resources, minerals, whatever it is to power our phones. Stuff like that. I would have to make sure my mom was aware of, my ex girlfriend was aware of, my friends were aware of, so they knew that they weren't that they played a part in this too. That by them engaging in society or that by them not self-martyring, like being sad or being like, oh, I can't allow myself to be happy because I exist within this web of like immoral destruction. I had to have them realize it too. And it wasn't good for my relationships. It wasn't good for my family. It wasn't good for me. I got on medication, which is one thing, but I think beyond that, I got older, and I also realized, nihilism isn't the answer, and neither is a tent in the woods, which is kind of what I was alluding to earlier with running away to nature. But that's also a great YouTube video that you can check out. I think it's I think it's titled something like "The Answer Is Not a Hut in the Woods" or whatever it is. Sorry if I'm butchering that, but I've spent a really long time thinking about how should I spend my time in a way that results in autonomous well-being, in a way that I feel like my actions, my choices still result in the life that I want to live. So cognitive dissonance in our day and age is a beast. And I'll break this down, I guess, in terms of like local cognitive dissonance and then global cognitive dissonance, and all I'm doing is establishing scale. I think focusing on local cognitive dissonance is a smart thing to do. If you have certain values, like do not steal, and you're going around, taking money from your friends to buy an 8 ball, then that's stealing. So that's probably not going to feel good, and you should change that. If I don't want a global outcome to occur that I can't control, but an action that exists within the global supply chain that I take part in contradicts that value, I can't pin that on me. I I as the consumer that exists within a global economy dictated by domestic and international law and I like moral business code. It's not like these businesses don't know that those kids are in those mines. They're okay with it because it results in a cheaper product, which results in a higher profit margin. Is that my fault for buying it so I can get a job so I can barely pay my bills? Or is that the fault of Amazon so they can continue this absurd idea of late stage capitalism that growth is infinite? And I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole, so I'm going to turn this more to the personal. And this video is really about avoiding cognitive dissonance, not holding yourself accountable to global cognitive dissonance, but controlling your local cognitive dissonance. And what do I mean by that? You can't control if this crazy guy in office bombs Iran, but you can control if you find an activity that doesn't suck. So let's talk about 3 rules to avoid local cognitive dissonance. Number 1, find an activity that doesn't suck. Number 2, find a creative outlet that doesn't suck. And 3, find relationships that don't suck. These 3 rules of engagement will give you more of a handle on your life, and you will feel like you have more of a say over your life. And it'll get you away from this constant feeling of impending doom, that bad things are happening all around you, and there's nothing you can do about it, but just, wait for it to explode in your face. Number 1, let's talk about finding an activity that doesn't suck. I don't want to sound ableist, so like I have people in my family with conditions that affect their physical abilities. So if you have something going on like that, to just take it into account. I'm not asking every person who's watching this video to go run a marathon. That would be ridiculous. You should evaluate your capacity based on yourself, not based on any projection from social media, based on what you can do today. Look yourself in the mirror and be honest. What can you do today? Can you go for a walk? Can you decide what route you take and see it through beginning, middle to end? Have a goal and accomplish it. Can you do that? Going for a walk doesn't suck. And you get to see birds and you get to see cool things. If it's winter, then maybe you can just I don't know, knit. That's an activity and it doesn't suck. And you know what? After you're done knitting, you're going to have something and you did it. Not the world, not society, not the international global supply chain, not TikTok, not Trump. You did it. I think I think it's a combination of capitalism and social media that we've just learned to completely devalue independent happiness, independent action oriented happiness. I don't like who draws pictures anymore for the love of drawing pictures. People draw pictures to post it. You know what I mean? It's like find an activity that doesn't suck, that makes you happy, that you can control. Can you go shoot free throws? All right? That type of stuff. Find a creative outlet that doesn't suck. When you feel disconnected from the direction of the world and where it's going, I think what's really nice is to imagine a different conception. And it doesn't have to be of the world, but of something in which that you can control. So I can imagine if I'm a carpenter a nice pipe that I can make. I can control that idea of the future and execute the outcome. And it gives me a real feeling of control over my life and my surroundings and just the direction of my mentality. If my creative outlet was geopolitics and watching like CNN and Fox News and just like thinking about like, oh my gosh, how are we going to open the Strait of Hormuz? Like, it's it's good to know that and it's good to follow it, but I'm not in a position to make that decision. And until I am, or like until is the wrong word, but like if you want to be in that position, until you are, you can't really burden yourself with the cognitive dissonance that comes with you wanting a different outcome than what's going to happen because you're not in the position to make that choice. What you are in the position to do is find a creative outlet that you control that doesn't suck. Um, I'm an MFA student for fiction, and I write. And let me tell you, the writing's hard, and I'm not going to sit here and be like I have the answers. I feel great because I'm doing. Like as much as I'm talking to you, I'm talking to myself right now, and I think that's the humility that I would like all humans to approach life with. Like 90% of life is projection, and I'm not talking at you guys, I'm talking with you guys. So we need to find an activity that doesn't suck. We need to find a creative outlet that doesn't suck, that we enjoy, that gives us control and passion, and then find relationships that don't suck. This doesn't have to be your love life, but I mean it should extend to it, but it's important to like talk to people face to face and have interaction despite this constant demand to place all of your attention on a device. And I know it's ironic that you're watching YouTube and somebody on YouTube is telling you to put down the phone and go talk to somebody, but it's all in moderation, you know. Whether you're falling asleep to this video or just, you have it on in the background while you're smoking a J or something, just put it in your head that, oh, yeah, that old friend I haven't seen in a while. I'm gonna call him up. My grandma who I haven't talked to in, a month or two. I'm gonna call her up and you can control that. What you can't control is the relationship between Xi Jinping, I'm sorry, and Trump, or Netanyahu and Trump. It's really stressful being alive right now, you know? There's a constant barrage of anxiety being thrown at you, not in just the events of the world, but the way that your brain is being programmed now by the device in your hand. You have to really be careful about the content you engage in and the speed in which you allow your brain to race. And that's why it's important to listen to these three rules, to find an activity, find a creative outlet, find relationships. All these things are like things that demand your brain to be in the moment and to engage with the reality around you, the local reality, not the global reality that you can't control, the local one. Okay? All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk again soon. Peace.